Good morning. I am Cheryl McGee, and I will be your child's language arts and social studies teacher for the year. A little bit about me. This is my sixth year at Chilton and my 20th year in the district. Prior to coming to Chilton, I taught fifth grade at Diamond Creek. I also taught a year in another district nearby. Before teaching, I was a corporate buyer at AT&T for their cellular division. I was offered the national buyer position in Texas, and rather than packing up my family and moving them away from their relatives, I decided I would quit and go back and get my teaching credential. Been teaching ever since. I am a local girl. I grew up in Lincoln. I was born in Roseville, and I don't think I've ever lived more than 20 miles away from the house I grew up in. About 29 years ago, my son, our only child, was born in the same hospital I was born in. He and his fiance have a November wedding planned, and we are hoping that we can figure out a way to pull this off. They have about 180 people on their guest list, so I don't know how it's happening, but we're pretending it might. We live in Roseville, my husband and I, and our two rescue beagles. Our beagles are beagles, so if I am teaching from my house on Tuesdays, your children will have the pleasure of listening to them go absolutely crazy when our pool person comes over. Beagles. This is our daily schedule. In the top, it'll have our learning objective of what we're working on that day. And a lot of times you'll see that won't change because what we're working on Monday is what we're working on all week. What might change is the materials. So you'll notice down there that Monday is asking for paper and pencil. This is our bell schedule. And you'll notice that our Monday is still a PLC Monday. The kids get off at 1:53. On Tuesday through Friday, it's 3:14. And on the bottom, there's a thing called pause schedule. And our pause schedule is usually for kids for intervention. Some kids, it's just homework time. Some kids, mostly seventh and eighth graders, there's an enrichment time. I know I teach yearbook during PAW, and I absolutely am publishing a yearbook this year. So I'll get information out as far as how to buy a yearbook in probably a couple of weeks. I feel like we're all a little bit overwhelmed for that right now. This is our suggested school supply list. We're hoping that your child can have some sort of a notebook, a spiral notebook, single subject, multiple subject, whatever works for you. Pens, papers, erasers, some highlighters, three colors would be nice, and then dry erase markers. And also, if you didn't get a chance to pick up your textbooks on Thursday, if you could contact the office to make arrangements, that would be great. So, super quick with the highlighters for us. We have two textbooks, a social studies, which is hardbound and we are not writing in at all. They are absolutely brand new. And then the second one is a paperback springboard, which is our language arts curriculum. That is a disposable, so the kids can highlight in there. And sometimes when we teach, we'll tell them to go through and highlight adjectives or highlight the topic sentence, things like that. So, expectations as we go through our distance learning this year. The students are expected to log in to Zoom for each class period for live daily instruction. Attendance is required. Parents must call the school office if the student is out for either part or full day. Student engagement and work completion is expected. So, really quickly, every single day your child will log into Otis, there'll be a link to go on to Zoom for my class, both my classes. So I get it's a little bit weird, but we're going to log in for first period, we're going to hang up, we're going to log in for second period. Not all the kids will stay on the whole entire first period, which is why I have two separate logins. It may be every kid will be there for instruction, and my instruction might take half the class period. And maybe the other half they're working independently and I'm on and they can pop back in if they've got questions. Or maybe I've pulled a few kids aside and I'm working with them. That'll really start to fall into place as soon as I know my students' needs and where we all are. Grading. Also, unlike spring distance learning, we will be grading assignments. In middle school, we use an 8-point rubric. There are formative assessments, which just checks the student's understanding, kind of lets you know however they're doing on a certain topic. They do not affect the grade. And then we have summative. Those are proof of learning, and they absolutely create the final grade. This is an example of our rubric, and I'll tell you what's behind the picture right there. It starts off with beginning, and what you're going to notice is that these descriptors are exactly the same. Moves to approaching, the approaching 3, 4, exactly the same. Same with 5, 6, which is proficient. 7 and 8 are mastery, and again, exactly the same. This is for a specific learning target. We have rubrics for every single one of our learning targets. What you'll see is that I might give your child a 6, which means they're proficient and they're close to mastery. I might give them a 5. A 5 is they're proficient, but they've got some work to do before they get to mastery. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll be trying to make comments on their work so you can kind of get an idea. And just to be clear, mastery is not easy. Mastery is exactly that. So proficient is a great grade to get in middle school, especially in the beginning when we're teaching new concepts. Communication, how to contact me. The best way to get a hold of me is through my email, cmcgee@rcsdk8.org. In Otis, you can go in and click, but in all fairness, most of us don't live in Otis. We live in our Gmail or whatever email system we use. So feel free to email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And that will really depend on how distance learning goes as far as how long I need to be online with the kids. Another just quick thing is we sent a survey out on Thursday for the parents. If you could take a few minutes and fill that out, gives us some great insight to how distance learning worked for you in the past and just some insight about your child. All right, that is language arts and social studies. Any questions, any concerns, please email me and understand one thing. I get we totally flipped format. We flipped it for our teachers, for me, for you, for the students. We used to use Google Classroom. Now we're using Otis. I know there's going to be technical difficulties. There were technical difficulties when we used Classroom and we were all super familiar with it. So please patience up with technology. That's just all I'm asking. I'm guaranteeing you there will be days when my video didn't load or my link isn't working, things like that. And we will all figure it out. And just email me if you're having any struggles or issues with that, or if you just want clarification on anything. Looking forward to seeing the kids Monday on a Zoom meeting. Ever so looking forward to meeting them live in person. Have a great day.